So now the gate opens, I go in the gate, and then I go inside of the building, and I can hear someone talking. But it was just like I was there by myself. Hello? Excuse me? There's no bell or nothing, so I'm trying to get someone's attention in this building. So I started to hear his voice, but he was taking his time to come to me. Pretty much like I just was not being acknowledged at all, as though I was in this building. I don't even know how I feel about that. So I'm about to be on my way to go do a general notary work. I'm going to fill you guys in on how all of that went and probably try to put you in whenever I can. I arrived at the location, and according to the phone call, they're applying for some type of prescription drugs. I guess to be able to sell those, they have an application. So I've never heard of that. I'm going to let you guys know how that went once I go in here. Okay, so I had to get home and pull off some of these clothes. It's too hot. It's too hot. But let me finish telling you what happened. The person that I went to go meet, he was apparently inside of the building. Now, this building that I went to is his actual company. He owns this company. So all I needed was to get there, call him, and then he was supposed to let me in the gate. But when I got there and went to call him, he wasn't answering the phone. The voicemail saying he is traveling for the next couple of days until next Monday. I was like, oh, no, this can't be right. So anyway, luckily for me, I had another number. I called another lady, and she called him from inside the building, and then the gate opened. Okay, so here we go. So now the gate opens, I go in the gate, and then I go inside of the building, and I can hear someone talking. But it was just like I was there by myself. Hello? Excuse me? There's no bell or nothing, so I'm trying to get someone's attention in this building. So I started to hear his voice, but he was taking his time to come to me. Pretty much like I just was not being acknowledged at all, as though I was in this building. I don't even know how I feel about that. So anyway, he shows up and he's upstairs. He's like, come. So I go upstairs where he is. And when I go up there, I can hear him. He's on the phone with someone. And this person is on speaker. They're just yelling and cursing and going on and on and on about $3 million or something. I don't know. But they were just going at it. And he told me to come in the office. He kept, for me to come in the office. They not cutting this conversation out. So I'm like, the old Deitra, yeah, I would have left. The old Deitra would have hit the bricks. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. I have no problem with the cursing. They can curse if they want to curse, but they need to curse on their own time. Let's get these papers signed. Y'all talking about $3 million and this little $35 signing? What? So anyway, fast forward. He gets off the phone. Now the paperwork is supposed to be one document, one signer, which equals to him. I had already confirmed it, and they said one sheet, only concern yourself with that one sheet. The sheet says, first of all, it looks like something that was actually printed over there on that little inkjet printer he had sitting in there. That's what it looked like. The wording, there was no wording. It was a box in the middle, and then it said at the top, take an oath on this date. Like, what is it? Where'd that come from? There was no signature places. There was nothing on this paper. So apparently what he thought I was going to do was I was going to come in there and I was just going to stamp this piece of paper that he just apparently printed out himself. So I told him, I said, is this paperwork for out of state? And he said, yes, it's for out of state. I said, well, the wording on the paperwork still has to be California wording if it's a jurat. So he didn't understand. So I said, let me explain it to you. You know what? I got out there and I really did better on this than I thought I was going to do. I said, first of all, the jurat itself is one where you are taking the oath, which is what you have on the top of the form here. But there's no oath information here. There's no before me, none of that on here for you to sign your name, for me to put a stamp or anything on it. And then at the bottom, you have acknowledged, and that's an acknowledgement form, right? So this is a copy of the acknowledgement here. This is a copy of the California acknowledgement. California acknowledgement says the county on whatever date before me, a period, who, him, and then I sign, and then I stamp and seal, right? And then, of course, at the top, it has the acknowledgement wording at the top of the form. And this form right here is the jurat. The jurat says subscribed and sworn to or affirmed before me at the top of the page, right? So he had what was on the top of this form at the top of his little paper, and what was on the acknowledgement at the top of this form on the bottom of the paper. And I was like, oh, he done printed that out. I'm new to this, but you ain't gonna play me. So I told him, apparently you have a jurat and an acknowledgement all in one sheet of paper. And he says, well, we just do both. And I said, well, actually it's 3, but we're only going to do 2. Because your form has no place that says for me to even sign my name. So I'm going to give you a jurat, and I went on ahead and asked him, do you swear or affirm, that the information and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yes. And then I did an acknowledgement. I gave him both. So I signed my own California acknowledgement, let him sign, and I stamped it, and I did the same thing for the jurat, and I left him with both of those pieces of paper, because let me tell you something, that paper that I clearly could tell he printed out, no. See, I told him, even though the paperwork is going out of state, the acknowledgement can have the wording of another state. That's no problem. We can do that. I'll just have to stamp the acknowledgement wording for California onto the paper, or give you an acknowledgement form. I mean, that's really no big deal. But the jurat itself, it has to be exactly what California is. And I was thinking to myself the whole time while I was pulling out my forms out of my bag, I was like, Deitra, you was worried that you was gonna run into some mess. You still ran into some mess. But guess what? This man's gonna get the right papers, and I'm gonna stamp and seal those papers. Make sure he signed them. You're gonna put all of his information inside of this journal, and he's gonna sign his name in that joint. And we're gonna get up out of here. And that's exactly what I did. Apparently, you're gonna run across people who are gonna print their own stuff out. It was a jumbled, hot ass mess. And I gave him my own jurat, and I gave him my own acknowledgement, and he signed both, and I stamped both, and what said Saranada up, but not before I gave him my business card. Told him, make sure you go on Google my business and leave your girl a review. He was like, I sure will, because you're the sweetest person I've talked to all day. Matter of fact, give me 2 of those cards. And I snapped them right on over there to him. You guys, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you're going to be bringing you something out later. Have a good day.